This is the 2025 VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft, right here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Round number 5 coming your way here. It is the VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. I'm Dustin Swedelson alongside Pauly Howard, Mitch Moss here at the Circus Sportsbook. On the line virtually, we have the rest of the VSiN hosts participating in this contest. When we left you, Jonathan Von Tobel made the final selection of round number 4, taking Las Vegas Raiders tight end Brock Bowers over 1,500 receiving yards. And JVT will now kick off the 5th round here. You are on the clock.
All right, there's 2 directions I want to go. I can either go win total or I can go stat leader here. I think the win total I want is a very unpopular one, so I'll leave that. And I will go with BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., to be the league leader in receiving yards at 13-1. I'm a big Brian Thomas Jr. guy. I think Liam Cohen's going to do a great job with this offense, revitalize what's going on with Trevor Lawrence. I actually did want to take them to win the AC South as well, but I think was it Tim who took that from me or whoever it was pretty early on. Yes, I think this team's going to turn things around, and I think BTJ is going to be a big part of that. So 13-1 receiving yards leader.
And that is officially the longest shot selected thus far from JVT. Curious if that plays a role in everyone else's strategy going forward. Could we see some more longer short shots as we go on here? 5th round, 2nd selection, Dave Ross back on the clock.
I can't believe this, that nobody else has picked this so far. I mean, it just feels like it's falling into my lap. You're always looking for value as a GM out there in a draft. How does nobody pick the Dallas Cowboys to win the East at plus 550? For the record, I did play this at Circa at 8-1. Give me America's team plus 550 to win the East in Brian Schottenheimer. We trust if he's half as good as his old man was, then we're going to be okay here. Brian, get it done. Be a leader of men. Plus 550 Cowboys to win the East. That
is like the equivalent of a fantasy football draft when someone takes a kicker in like the 3rd round. Dave taking the Cowboys to win the East at 5.5-1. 5th round, Stormy Bonantoni, the other half of Money Moves, now on the clock. Your pick here.
Dave can't help but notice you haven't picked any Micah Parsons related props yet. Interesting.
Too soon, Stormy. Too soon.
I am going to go to the Raiders here. And while Ashton Genty's rushing touchdown prop is set at 7.5, if you go to the rookie watch tab on DraftKings, you can get 10 plus rushing touchdowns for Genty at plus 140. He's going to be the focal point of this new look offense with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. They want to run the rock. He's going to be the go-to guy within 10 yards. He's so good with contact balance. If he beats the first tackle, he's off. I think he can break off some big touchdown runs, and went with the scoring potential over yards just because I still have some questions about the offensive line. But I think double-digit rushing touchdowns is very much so in reach for Genty.
Boom. Ashton Genty, 10-plus rushing touchdowns from Stormy there. As we now move along here in the 5th round to Gil Alexander's next selection, you are on the clock.
This is going to really be bad if Joe Burrow gets hurt, but I'm going to do it again. My second player prop, Joe Burrow over 33.5 regular season passing touchdowns at minus 115. Burrow threw 43 last year. In the other 2 seasons where he played more than 10 games, he threw 35 and 34. So that feels pretty good to me. Again, I'm betting against injury with 2 Burrows and 1 Chase, but I'll go with that.
Gil through 5 picks has Joe Burrow over 33.5 passing touchdowns, over 41.50.5 passing yards, and Chase to lead the NFL in receptions at 6-1. All in on Cincinnati from Mr. Alexander. And now Tim Murray is on the clock for his pick here in the 5th round.
All right, we did the Jags to win the AFC South 3-1. Jamar Chase to lead the NFL in receiving yards 6-1. Bengals under 9.5 wins at even money. Vikings to win the NFC North at 3-1. And I'm going to go my first player prop and a tip of the cap to Mr. Moss over there because now I'm going to get a little less juice. I'm going to go Dak Prescott in the milestone tab over at DraftKings. Over 4,000 passing yards. That's even money in the milestone tab there. If he stays healthy, he's gone over 4,000 yards in his last 3 seasons when he's fully healthy. Now, health has always been a concern with Dak. Once again, I think their running backs stink. I think they'll be behind in games. I think he'll be throwing a lot. So even money, 4,000 plus passing yards for Dak Prescott.
Had to cross that one off my list. Strong consideration for me today.
Dak over 4,000 yards. I just want to check in, wellness check. Dave, are you okay with the bad things he said about your favorite team?
Yeah, a lot of those things were really kind of unnecessary. Could have just made the pick and left it at that. But besides that, I like the rationale.
All right. 5th round continues with Jensen Lewis, Dave's partner on VSiN by the Books. Jensen, you are officially on the clock.
All right, a little alacrity here for Matt Humans and an homage here to the soundtrack for most of my days at the gym, Money Moves with Stormy and JVT. JVT talking up Brian Thomas Jr. a lot. I do like him for his season receiving props over 1,150.5.
Boom, just like that. A couple Brian Thomas Jr. props off the board in round number 5 here, and that brings us now to Patrick Maher. Number 47 overall selection. Your 5th round pick will be what?
Yeah, Matt Humans wants to stretch this out. Sorry, Matt, I'll make it quick. This is for JVT. Stats leaders. I'll go Jonathan Taylor, 13-1 to lead the league in rushing touchdowns.
Boom, just like that. Jonathan Taylor, a couple props of his off the board, I believe, thus far. And now that brings us to Mitch Moss with his 5th selection here.
Okay, I think the number of division winners selected already is like 15 because we all have to have 2. That is, we're down to slim pickings right now, but I'll take the team, I think, based on the number and with my opinion anyway as well, the team with the most realistic chance still on the board to win a division is...
Wait, hang on. We got to go back. Jonathan Taylor was already selected by Stormy, I believe, right?
Hold on. That was, he took most
I
touchdowns.
had rush yards.
Oh, okay,
I had
touchdown. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, get a new host.
Come on. Oh, relax over there.
Get a new host.
Relax.
Now, I'm going to go Commanders plus 220.
Yeah.
NFC East.
Good
Yep.
pick.
Surprised that's still out there, especially with Gil on this thing and Tim on this thing. Man, okay.
Not a good pick. Not a good pick.
Get Scary Terry signed, please, for the love of God.
Go in the anti-Dave Ross route from 2 Commanders fans here now that their team's finally good. All right, Matt Humans, you're on the clock. 5th round here. Pick number 49.
All right, let's go a player prop. Ashton Genty of the Raiders over 1,050.5 rushing yards. No analysis needed. Let's move on to the next pick, Paul Howard.
All right, Paul Howard, you're on the clock on the turn. End of round 5. What's your first selection?
Okay, so Von Tobel went rushing yards. I'm going to go rushing touchdowns. Henry plus 450 to lead the league, most rushing touchdowns. And I will go, they were my first pick. I think 1 seed is in play. I think they're having a big year offensively. Tampa over 9.5 wins. The second selection.
Buccaneers over, you said 10.5?
9.5.
9.5 wins to
9.5.
start the 6th round. We are now back to Matt Humans. Matt Humans, what is your pick here in the 6th round?
All right, I'm going to go back to Joe Burrow. And Gil and I are on the same page here. How about Burrow to lead the league in touchdown passes at plus 550?
A lot of Joe Burrow loves. Okay, Humans, you already had him to lead the league in passing yards at 5-1. Gil has him over his passing yard prop of 4,150.5. And now Matt Humans selects here touchdowns. What was the number?
Plus 550.
Plus 550 for Humans there in the 6th. Back to Mitch with your pick here.
All right. This is still on the board with Dave taking every imaginable Cowboy selection on the board, and this one is still there. The whole narrative today has been pro Cowboys and pro Dak Prescott going to have a good year. I can buy into that. So why not CeeDee Lamb 10-1 for most receiving yards?
Boom.
The entire year.
Pick.
I'll take him.
Get off the sideline.
Finally, someone sniped something that Dave wanted in this thing. All right, Mitch goes with CeeDee Lamb there. Patrick, it is back to you for your 6th round selection.
I'm trying to figure out this Google Doc.
It's a lot.
Let's go rush yards leader. Let's go stats leader. Bijan Robinson, 11-1.
I know Bijan was selected, right? Dave took that at 11-1.
I told you. Puka Nacua. Let's do it again. Puka Nacua player props over 5.5 receiving touchdowns.
Boom. That will work. That will play here. We're getting in the nitty gritty here. We're more than halfway home. And look, I'm not smart enough to be the person in charge of keeping tabs on what everyone has. So if you hear, just like Dave, if you hear your pick that was already selected again, just yell out for us. All right, Jensen Lewis, your 6th round selection. You are officially on the clock.
Short and sweet here. Let's go Eagles over 10.5 wins.
Boom.
Oh.
That was easy. Tim Murray, your 6th round pick here, number 56 overall. Shout out to Lawrence Taylor. What is your selection?
My first pick was the Jags to win the division at 3-1. They can't win the division more than likely without 9 wins. So I will take an alt over here, over 8.5 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, plus 140.
All right, correlation there from Tim, and we have time to sneak in one more pick in the 6th round. Gil Alexander, you are on the clock.
With apologies to JVT, Indianapolis Colts alt under 6.5 at plus 150. I think there is a disaster scenario for the Colts. They better bank the wins early because the schedule gets really tough late, and those quarterbacks can still be a disaster.
Boom. That is where we'll end things for this segment. We are mostly through the 6th round here. Here's how it's gone so far. Pauly Howard started this round. Buccaneers over 9.5 wins. Matt Humans took Burrow to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns. Mitch then selected CeeDee Lamb, most receiving yards at 10-1. Patrick Maher, Puka Nacua over 5.5 receiving touchdowns. And Jensen Lewis grabbed the Colts over 10.5 wins. And then, Tim, what was your pick? It's not in the Google doc yet.
Eagles.
Jaguars over 8.5 wins.
Over 8.5 wins. Got it. And then Gil just went alt under on the Colts. All right. We'll wrap up the 6th round, begin the 7th. Coming up on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. This is the VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft.
You're tuned in to the 2025 VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft.
Rolling on with the VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. Dustin Swedelson live from the Circa Sportsbook with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard, and our other 8 pickers as far as this contest goes, all available virtually here. Check it out on YouTube TV and the VSiN Watch app. Where we left off, we were towards the end of the 6th round as Gil Alexander, number 57 overall, just took the Colts alt under 6.5 wins at plus $1.50. We will continue things here with the final 3 selections in the 6th round, beginning with Stormy Bonantoni here. You are officially on the clock. And there is no audio, so that is an issue.
Stormy's muted. Wow.
Stormy was muted. Oh, no, wow. She didn't do anything. We don't have rules in place for this. Text someone your pick.
No.
Oh, no. I have to follow the rules.
Clock's running out.
Is this here's a Viking situation? Mike Tice pick? What are we doing? Oh, no. Stormy can't speak.
He's about to be eliminated from the whole draft.
Oh, no. We're just going to go to the next one.
All right, I got a text.
Jared Goff. I can read lips.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. Yeah. And then what's the pick, though?
Most passing yards.
Boom. Oh, my God.
Good job.
Shout out.
Love it.
Good job.
Man, who needs closed captioning? I got you covered. All right. Jared Goff, most passing yards selected by Stormy.
Let's fix your lighting, though.
Yeah. by the way, Stormy, you picked again in like 6 picks.
Did that really just happen?
You ready? Yeah.
You saw what she was saying?
Really happened.
You were able to read her lips?
Yeah. Jared Goff. I mean, it's not that hard.
Good job. Still a good job.
All right, next one here.
I got Dave. CeeDee Lamb. Most receiving yards,
Dave Ross is on the clock, 6th round. What is your pick here?
You know, I'm not going to go there, JVT, but you better well believe that's in the thought process. That's for sure. If he's still around, you know, might be coming a little bit later. I will say, I know that Patrick Maher likes his team. I don't. I'm down on the Rams this year, and I see a scenario where, you know, Kelly Stafford says, "What are we doing? We already got a Super Bowl. You're probably going to the Hall of Fame. We don't need this anymore." Shuts it down before week 1 ever begins. Give me the alt under on the Rams, 8.5 at plus 200. I think there's more things that can go wrong for this team than right. I'm really down in this squad. I think there's some value there for a team that could be, I don't know, Sean McVay might be ready to run off into the sunset too. So without a healthy Stafford, 1 foot out the door for the head coach. Give me the under on the Rams here, 8.5 at plus $2.
Well, she also could motivate her husband like she did in the past by starting to talk to the backup quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe all of a sudden that back will heal up and he'll play like an MVP.
She
Okay.
should never have told that story, Dustin. She should never have put that out there.
All right, final pick of the 6th round. We will go to Jonathan Von Tobel on the turn. What is your pick, my friend?
All right, we'll go a little against the grain here. I believe this is still available. I don't want to pull a Patrick Maher. We'll go with an alternate win total under. Give me the Houston Texans under 8.5 at plus 150. Wow. I don't buy it. I think the offensive line stinks. He's the most pressured quarterback in the NFL last year. Their running back position is a mess now. Joe Mixon's injured. Nick Chubb is not the same guy that he once was. I think this offense is going to be pretty bad. The defense is going to be great, but I think that they are a team that is destined for all signs pointing south. So let's go Texans alt under.
All right, that ends the 6th round. It went Pauly Howard, Bucks over 9.5 wins. Matt Humans, Burrow to lead the league in NFL passing touchdowns. Mitch Moss, CeeDee Lamb, most receiving yards. Patrick Maher, Puka Nacua over 5.5 receiving touchdowns. Jensen Lewis over 10.5 wins for the Eagles. Tim Murray over 8.5 wins for the Jags. Colts under 6.5 from Gil Alexander. Stormy, Jared Goff, most passing yards at 12-1. Dave Ross, Rams under 8.5. And JVT Texans under 8.5 at plus $1.50. We now begin round number 7 with JVT and his second selection on the turn.
All right, I need another division winner, and I am making sure in the doc that this has not been selected. I don't even think this team's been mentioned, and I kind of get it. I actually don't really believe in them, but of the slim pickings that are left, I believe they are one of the more realistic, longer shots to win their division. So give me Harbaugh and the Chargers to win the AFC West at plus 350.
First mention of the Chargers through 6 rounds of the broadcast. Very interesting. Chargers to win the West, 3.5-1 from JVT. Second selection here in the 7th round. You are on the clock, Dave Ross.
I'm going to stay with that theme on the Rams. I'm fading the Rams this year. I do like another team out west, and I do feel like most of the network does like Arizona, and I do get that. But I'm going to go with Seattle. I really like Mike McDonald. Speaking of the Harbaugh tree, at least, that he comes from Baltimore, I'm going to take the alt-win total over at plus money, plus $1.20, 8.5 wins for this football team. I think they're going to be there in the end. I don't know if they can win the division, but I think that it's going to be another 4-horse race down the stretch, especially if the Rams are worse than I think most people think they're going to be. Give me the over on Seattle, 8.5 wins at plus money.
All right, Seattle over 8.5 wins plus $1.20 from Dave Ross. Here's the big question of the day. Will we be able to hear Stormy's pick here, or will I have to decipher it via hieroglyphics? Let's see. Stormy, Bon, and Tony, you're on the clock here in the 7th round.
Pressure's on. Can you hear me now?
Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do that again.
It's like Verizon. Can you hear me now? I didn't think I could give a pick in fewer words than Matt Humans, but there we went. I'm going to go Cardinals under 8.5 plus 105 for a win total. Especially if you think that the Seahawks are going to go over, Dave, then that's just going to help my cause a little bit more. But Call of Duty for Kyler Murray comes out mid-November. He always struggles the back half of the season anyways. So I think that especially with the tougher games that they have the back end of the schedule, they're really going to have to cash in on wins at the beginning of the season. And I'm not sure I have a ton of confidence they can. So Cardinals alt under. Or excuse me, just under.
Under 8.5 wins for Stormy and the Arizona Cardinals, cruising on VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. And now in the 7th round, Gil Alexander is officially on the clock.
I'm sorry, Stormy. I mean no offense. Arizona over 8.5, minus 125. I think Kyler said he was hurt last year. He's going to run a lot this year. I think he'll be better with Marvin Harrison. They addressed the defense in the offseason. Arizona over 8.5.
All right, we just went back to back. Cardinals under 8.5 to Stormy, over 8.5 to Gil. One of them will be
It's
right
on,
in
Gil.
the end.
It's on.
And now in the 7th round, we're going to Tim Murray with your next selection here.
All right, let's stay with the NFC West flavor. Stormy, shockingly, picked her 49ers to win this division, but she hasn't picked their win total, so I will do that. Over 10.5 wins, plus 110 at DraftKings, 49ers. Easiest schedule in the NFL. I don't know who's going to play wide receiver. That's a bit of a concern there, but I do think you get a bounce-back season, plus 9 in the rest advantage as well. So they really got an advantageous schedule this year. Niners over 10.5 wins plus 110 at DraftKings.
Well, Tim, at this point, you have a chance to try out and be their red zone target with the way those receivers are flying down for them. So with the injuries,
I got good hands, man.
Next round, next pick here in the 7th round, Jensen Lewis, Mario Lemieux pick, number 66 overall. What is your selection?
Yeah, I could go Steelers, but I won't. I'm just going to continue to pick on the New York area here. Let's go under 6.5 for the Jets. I love Justin Fields, great Ohio State guy, but they stink. They suck. Under 6.5.
Under 6.5 wins for the Jets goes to Jensen Lewis at number 66. 7th round continues with Patrick Maher and your next selection here.
Okay, I double checked with JVT if this is still on the board, and he texted me it is. So I'll go Packers. I'm high on the Packers this year. I'll go alt. Win total over 10.5 on the Packers plus 155.
Oh, Pauly's not happy. We got to check in. Was that going to be your next pick?
That was it.
That was someone got sniped.
My apologies.
Middle of the 7th round. So Packers over 10.5 wins. Alternate
Can't believe you
to
trusted
Patrick Maher. Well, I mean, because you want to get out of here. If he picks another one, it's going to take a little bit longer. So he understands. All right, next pick here, 7th round, 68 overall. Mitch Moss, you are on the clock.
Patrick has the right division, but the wrong team. I can't believe I'm the only person I think in the world who is super high on the Vikings this year. I don't get it. I mean, I know the J.J. McCarthy thing. We haven't seen him do it before, but also I will remind people, nobody had faith in Sam Darnold last year. The win total was 5.5. And they were playing on the final Sunday night of the regular season to be the 1 seed overall in the NFC. I fully trust Kevin O'Connell. I love the defense. I love the roster overall. I think they're one of the best teams in football. Tough schedule, be damned. I'm going to go over 9.5 plus 105 on Minnesota.
Boom. Over 9.5 wins for the Minnesota Vikings going to Mitch Moss here in the 7th round, which will bring us, we can get this in. We have plenty of time on the board. Matt Human's 7th round pick. What are we going with?
Hey, Dustin, before I get to the pick, you want to recap everything that's happened in the last 2 rounds?
I'll do that when we return. From the next break. I'll do my job. You do yours. Make a pick.
This pick is a layup. Wow. Player prop. Last year with the Raiders, Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing. Jacobs over 1,050.5 rushing yards.
Boom. Matt Humans, Jacobs.
Bam.
There is the selection. And Matt Humans with a ton of great write-ups in both the college football and NFL betting guides. You can get both of them right now by becoming a VSiN Pro. Guides are packed with team previews, power ratings, betting systems, and all the best bets from all the people you're listening to right now and more. Plus, becoming a VSiN Pro, you'll get the daily best bet email from all the shows, real-time betting splits, 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, plus full access to VSiN.com's tools and data. Sign up today for $9.99 or save 50% with a pro annual plan. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We wrap up the 7th round of the VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. Pauly Howard is on the turn with 2 selections, and then it's round number 8. That is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked to VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're tuned in to the 2025 VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft.
Back at it with the first ever VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. I'm Dustin Swedelson, live from the Circa Sportsbook, hanging out with Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard here. Follow the money coming your way just a little bit after we wrap this thing up. But we do have a draft to complete. As when we left you last segment, we were in the 7th round, final selection, which means after Pauly Howard makes his pick here, there will be 2 picks left here to go. As Pauly Howard, you are on the clock with pick number 70.
Okay. Murray sniped me there with the Packers. I still need another over. I despise this organization. I've had Chiefs fatigue for years. Can't stand them. 180, too much juice, but I'll go over 11.5 even money with the Chiefs for my other win total. And I will go on the milestone tab. There was a bromance there with Wilson immediately. And then when Adams came in, he still had 1,000 yards with the Jets. I still think the old man has a little bit left. DK Metcalf to have 1,000 yards receiving even money.
Oh, back in Rodgers in this spot. Pauly Howard, I think that's the first Steelers selection we've had thus far through 7 rounds. First pick in the 8th is DK Metcalf over 999.5 yards then if it's to have 1,000 yards at even money. Okay. That is the pick there from Pauly Howard. Matt Humans, you are on the clock here in the 8th round.
I plan to use the full minute of the clock here. I tell you what, I like this team a lot more than most do. We're going to have back-to-back Steelers picks here. I'm trying to decide, should I use the Steelers to win the division or over the win total? And Dave Ross mentioned something to me last week that nobody else knows. I don't think anyone knows this. He said Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. So let's go Steelers over 8.5.
Breaking news, Matt.
Yeah.
So Steelers over 8.5 wins for Matt Humans. And just so everyone's aware, because he wants to make sure everyone remembers his picks, I will run them down for everyone. Round 1, he went Joe Burrow to lead the NFL in passing yards at 5-1. Broncos to win the AFC West. Browns under 5.5. Broncos over 9.5. Genty over 1050.5 rush yards. Burrow to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns. Josh Jacobs over 1,050.5 rushing yards. And Steelers over 8.5 wins. I could run that down in case anyone missed any of those. Are we good? Okay. Next pick in the 8th round.
Could you say that again?
We're going to go 8th round, 73 overall. Mitch Moss, you are on the clock.
All right, final win total for me, and I don't even really like it, but who am I to argue with Lou Finicaro, who the last couple of years has been on our show. 2 years ago gave out Chiefs under, and people are like, oh, Lou, I'm not so sure about that one. Got there. Last year, loved the Niners, no sweat. This year, even though they have one of the easiest schedules in football, he gave what was it, Pauly, 8 minutes of analysis without breathing consecutively. Just like, this is why it's going to happen. So many reasons point in this direction. So I'll take them out under 11.5. And that number is plus 145.
Boom. Boom. That was Niners under or Bills under?
Bills under.
Yeah, Bills under.
Yep.
Bills.
Niners last year.
8 minutes of analysis is Matt Humans hell, I think.
All right. Next pick in the 8th round here is Patrick Maher with the number 74 overall selection.
Okay, I need an under. Slim pickings here. I'll go against Matt. I'll go under the 8.5 with the Steelers.
Ooh, fading Tomlin to have the winning record. That is the pick from Patrick Maher. Steelers under 8.5 wins in the 8th round, which brings us to Jensen Lewis here. You are on the clock.
Yeah, I know I disparaged the name of the Ravens before. As a true Browns fan, anyone would in my position, but I am objective in my analysis here. So the Ravens over 11.5, I believe at $1.15.
I believe we are good to go there. That has not been selected. Ravens over 11.5 wins going to Jensen Lewis here in the 8th round, which now sends us over to Tim Murray with his selection. You are on the clock.
All right, I need an under to close it out here. I've got Bengals under 9.5. Brutal schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I will go, maybe we could thread the needle because Jensen has over 10.5. I'll go under 11.5 wins for the Philadelphia Eagles, minus 130.
Minus 130 juice on the Eagles, under 11.5 wins from Tim Murray, fading the defending champions, which now will go 77 overall. 8th round selection, Gil Alexander, you're on the clock.
Humans took Pittsburgh over. He usurped it. I was about to pick it because I totally agree on that. I'm more upset that I got to now do more research for a final pick. So I will go, this is sort of a flailing pick now that I'm still upset about that. Minnesota under 9.5. Tough schedule. I'm not sure I believe in J.J. McCarthy. Minnesota under 9.5, minus 125.
All right. Mitch has the over 9.5. Gil goes under 9.5. And now in the 8th round, we are up to Stormy Bonantoni with your next selection.
It's juiced as hell, but I'm going to go Titans over 5.5 wins, minus 170. Offense last year was just historically bad. And I think about how many games they lost just because Will Levis did something stupid. If Cam Ward gives them anything, they go over this in my mind. So Titans over 5.5.
Stormy says losing Levis is a net positive. Titans over 5.5 wins is the play there. And we are close to wrapping up the 8th round, bringing us to Dave Ross. And we have not heard a Cowboys pick in a minute from him. Are there any more Dallas selections?
Well, I was going to kind of go that same theme, Dustin, but curses to Tim Murray because I was going to play that under on the Eagles. I like that play a lot. As we know, Matt Humans, nobody's won the division in the NFC East in over 20 years. Nobody's repeated his champions. You might not have heard that one either. I am going to go back to the player prop well here, and it's not going to be CeeDee Lamb, even though he's still on the board there for this over total. I'm going to take George Pickens over 5.5 touchdowns this year. I don't know how much he's going to actually be between the 20s, but that big target down in the end zone, in the red zone for Dak Prescott, I think that connection is going to click, at least for touchdowns, 6 or more, as long as he stays healthy. And he really does. Big-bodied receiver. They need that in the red zone. Give me Pickens over 5.5 touchdowns.
George Pickens over 5.5 TDs going to Dave Ross, and he was already going to be watching the Cowboys, so he might as well just sweat out the bets that he selected here in the Pro Football Futures Draft. Let's wrap up round number 8 with Jonathan Von Tobel. You are on the clock for the first of 2.
All right, for the first pick, I'll do a little gamesmanship here. Everybody is really tied into Joe Burrow, so let's go under 4,150 passing yards for my last player prop.
Fading everyone, you know what? I like the strategy there. Everyone else is all in on Burrow. JVT goes the other way. And if he's right, I mean, that is a good move. That is a smart player prop play. I believe it's the first under player prop play, too, by the way. Everyone else has gone over so far. All right. 9th round begins, and you are back on the clock, JVT.
I'll also fight a little bit here with one of our colleagues as well. Let me get the over on the Jets win total. Last year, this was a playoff roster. This year, it's abysmal. I don't really understand the difference. This defense is going to be pretty good. I think serviceable quarterback play from Fields and Tyrod Taylor, if and when he's healthy when you get to the regular season. Should he be able to play or should he have to play? I think this team's better than it's given credit for. Let's go over their win total.
So over 6.5 wins for JVT.
Yes, sorry.
Under 6.5 for Jensen in the last round. So on opposite sides of Aaron Glenn's squad there between those two. And now we'll go back to Dave Ross for your pick here in the 9th round.
I got to get one more division winner in there. And I got to be honest with you, I really want to take the Bengals at plus 275. That's still out there, but I'm not going to do it. JVT fading Joey B. I really do like that team, but I'm going to go back to it. We had a guest on Jensen and I a couple of days ago from Arizona, a beat reporter, and he basically said he doesn't think the NFC West is that good overall. So why not give me the longest long shot of the board in that division? I'll take Seattle at plus 550. I actually played this at circa plus 679, Matt Human, so I got the worst of the number at DraftKings. But per the rules, give me the Seahawks plus 550 to win this division.
A little correlation from Dave Ross, who back in the 7th round took the Seahawks over 8.5 wins plus 120. Now has them in pocket to win the West at 5.5 to 1. So, hey, you win the West, you go over that total. That is a big double cash for Mr. Ross. Now let's go 9th round. 83rd overall selection. Stormy Bonantoni is on the clock.
I might be on an island with this, but I'm not very pro Packers, and the even money under 9.5 for their win total, and I'm like in need of an under right now, is the way I'm going to go. I think the Bears are going to be better. I don't think the Lions take a significant step back. And like Mitch said earlier about the Vikings, I don't think they're getting enough respect for the talent that they have around their young quarterback. So Packers under.
All right, Packers under 9.5 wins, even money for Stormy Bonantoni. 9th round, 84 overall, Gil Alexander. What is your second to last selection?
All right, I did not expect to have 1,000 Bengals bets, but I need a stat leader. And I'm also aware that he is a hold-in and unsigned, but he did have 17.5 sacks last year, and he did lead the league by 3.5. Trey Hendrickson, 11 to 1 most sacks.
That is our first defensive player off the board. Round number 9 going to Gil Alexander. So the 9th round, we are a few picks in. JVT went Jets over 6.5 wins. Dave Ross took the Seahawks to win the NFC West at plus 550. Stormy, Packers under 9.5 wins. And then Gil at Trey Hendrickson, most sacks, 11 to 1 at number 84 overall. When we return, Tim Murray will be on the clock for his 9th round pick, followed by Jensen Lewis, Patrick Maher, Mitch Moss, Matt Humans, and then Pauly Howard wraps up round number 9. Find out who they pick when we return. This is the VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft on VSiN, the sports betting network.
You're tuned in to the 2025 VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft.
VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft rolls on here live from the Circus Sportsbook. I'm Dustin Swedelson with Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard here in downtown Las Vegas. The rest of our contestants all picking virtually. You can see it all at YouTube TV and the VSiN Watch app. Where we left off last segment, Gil Alexander just took Trey Hendrickson to have the most sacks in the NFL this year at 11-1, one of his stat leader bets that he had to make per the parameters of this deal. So now in the 9th round, we're four picks in. Tim Murray, you're on the clock, number 85 overall. What is your selection here?
Well, Jonathan Von Tobel is a trendsetter, and he's been doing that his whole life. And he gave out the first under player prop, Joe Burrow under. I'm going to follow suit with an under. I had Connor Allen from 4 for Football on the VSiN Weekend Morning Line, and one of his favorite player props is Breece Hall under 900.5 rushing yards this year. That is juiced at -120 at DraftKings. He's still RB1, but they drafted 2 running backs a year ago in Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. Breece Hall is certainly someone they use in the pass game a little bit more. Justin Fields is going to run, and I think this offense is just going to be flat out bad. So under 900.5 rushing yards for Breece Hall.
Breece Hall under 9.5 rushing yards, -120, not to be confused.
900.5, Dustin.
900.5. 900.5. Not to be confused. Sorry, I was setting up my joke. Not to be confused with Bryce Hall, Matt Humans' favorite TikTok influencer. So, okay. Next pick here in the 9th round, we're going to go to Jensen Lewis. You are on the clock.
All right, first of my season stat leaders, let's go to former Brown, Baker Mayfield, 12-1 to lead the league in passing yards. Vaunted offense, think they could be very high-powered this year. He's got a shot, so I like Baker, 12-1. All
right, I'm going to editorialize. That's the best pick that's been taken in this entire draft. I'm just going to say that. It's my favorite selection. Wow. Jensen Lewis takes Baker Mayfield, lead the league in passing yards at 12-1. And now Patrick Maher, pick number 9 for you. You're on the clock.
I'm with you, Jensen. Baker, however, 41 touchdown passes last year. I'll take Baker 9.5-1 to lead the league in passing touchdowns.
Boom, back-to-back Baker Mayfield selections in the 9th round. And now we're going to go to the Michael Irvin pick, number 88. Mitch Moss, you're on the clock.
Last year in Carolina, their main receivers on the outside, Xavier Leggett and David Moore, combined for 11 drops. When you look at how accurate Bryce Young was, he was still in the top 10 at catchable throw rates, traveling 20 or more yards down the field. Well, what did they do with their first-round pick? They took Ted McMillan, number 8 overall. Wide receivers drafted inside the top 10 of the NFL since 2021 have averaged 7.5 targets per game and 1,012 receiving yards as rookies. So at DraftKings right now, you can bet him over 900 or 900-plus receiving yards at +170.
All right. That is Mitch's pick there. Round number 9, Matt Humans, on to you with your next selection.
All right, I wondered when those Baker Mayfield props are going to go off the board. 9th round, that was a steal. I'm going to – Lou Finicaro likes the Bills under the win total. Mitch Moss bought into it. It looks like a 2-horse race in the AFC East. It's not going to be the Dolphins, not going to be the Jets. I like Mike Vrabel in that defense. I like Drake May. I got to take a shot on a division winner here. Patriots at about 5-1.
Patriots 5-1 to win the AFC East goes to Matt Humans, and we wrap up round number 9 with Pauly Howard's selection here.
Jaden Daniels over 3,450.5 passing yards. He had 35.68 last year. I don't see regression. I see improvement, and I think offense could be scary again and have to have another stat leader. Cam Ward to lead the league in interceptions 9-1.
Boom, back-to-back. Pauly Howard goes. Jaden Daniels over on his passing yardage. What was it,
3,450.
3,450.5 passing yards. Yep. And then Cam Ward to lead the NFL in interceptions at 9-1. 9-1 for Pauly Howard. Okay. 10th round continues. Matt Humans, you are on the clock.
I believe this is still available. I need an under. Give me the Chiefs under 11.5 wins at -120.
I can run through your picks if you want to know, Matt, what you need, but I think you're
no
correct.
more recaps, please. No more recaps. Let's
All right,
on.
Round number 10 continues with Mitch Moss, the 93rd overall selection here. What are we doing?
All right, I need one more stat leader. I've been going back and forth. These are tough to cash. So is there any reason to take a true bomb I don't think so. Thinking about Nico Collins, not going to do that, though. I will go to Michael Penix, his main target, and that's going to be Drake London this year in Atlanta. This way I'll have two swings at it. For most receiving yards, CeeDee Lamb 10-1 and Drake London 15-1. Had 1,271 last year. And when Penix came in, London averaged 117 yards per game late in the season. So Penix, I don't trust Kyle Pitts for 2 seconds. Penix, I think, is going to be looking at him often this season.
Drake London, most receiving yards, 15-1, goes to Mitch here in the 10th round. Final selection, Patrick Maher on the clock.
I'm with Mitch on Drake London. I need another player prop. I'm going to go over 11.25.5 Drake London.
Boom. Drake London over 11.25.5 receiving yards to Patrick Maher with his final selection here, which brings us now to Jensen Lewis, your last pick.
Had it right there. Well done, Mitch. Love that one. Does the tush push, even with Landon Dickerson's injury, continue its dominance? This may not be as crazy as people think, but I'll take Jalen Hurts plus 550 to lead the league in rushing touchdowns.
Ooh, Jalen Hurts lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Goes to Jensen Lewis with his final selection, and now number 96 overall here in the 10th round. Tim Murray, you are back on the clock.
I'm annoyed with Pauly because I thought I had found one for a stat leader in Cam Ward to lead the league in interceptions at 9-1, so I had to pivot off of that. Already we've seen JVT take over on Brock Bowers' receiving yards. He had 112 receptions last year, third in the NFL. I'll take Brock Bowers to lead the NFL in receptions at 10-1.
Ooh, I think it's a sneaky play from Tim Murray there in the 10th round to wrap things up. Final selection, Gil Alexander, number 97 overall, officially on the clock.
I need a season win total over. I don't really believe this because I think they're more like like the baseball team you don't want to face in the playoffs if they can sneak in. But I've got the Washington Commanders over 9.5 at -125. Also because Dave Ross is a horrible human being. I think we can all agree about that.
All right. I think we're on the same page there. Gil with the Commanders with his final selection. Stormy, your last pick will be?
I needed another season-long prop, and I'm going with Garrett Wilson over 925.5 receiving yards. -120 is the price on that. He's gone over 1,000 yards all 3 years of his career, being passed by Aaron Rodgers, who is looking rough half the season off an Achilles, Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian, Joe Flacco, and Mike White. So hopefully Justin Fields can do a little something to get him over 1,000.
Boom, that is Stormy's pick, going with Garrett Wilson. And now Dave Ross, pick number 99, the great one, Gretzky. What's your selection?
Do it, Dave.
I'd like to rethink my whole draft strategy here, everybody, with these numbers you're getting on Baker Mayfield this late in the 9th and 10th rounds here. I'd like to rethink my strategy. This is not just because of what Gil Alexander said, but he knows, Tim Murray knows, when things go well in DC in year one, they go terribly awful in year number two. That's going to happen to the Commanders. I'm going to play the adjusted win total under 8.5. I'm seeing about plus $1.60 out there on the board. Look, I do like their offense. I think they got away with smoke and mirrors last year defensively with Dan Quinn, and he normally has a shelf life there as a D coordinator / head coach. Let's play the under and fade Gil and Tim, and let's go everybody else not named Commanders in the NFC East. And I don't like them week one, by the way. I like the Giants.
Wrap it up.
And Dave, you'd say year one better than year two when it comes to the nation's capital. Does it also go for presidential terms? Don't answer that. Jonathan Von Tobel, the final pick of the VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. What is the selection?
I'm going to do this for Matt Humans. I want to start with a story before I get to the pick.
You can continue into the next segment if you need to.
All right, cool. So in 1998, a young 7-year-old Jonathan Von Tobel was watching football, and Peyton Manning was breaking onto the scene. Give me the Bills over 13.5 wins at plus 255.
What was it again? Repeat it for me. The Bills. I was laughing.
Bills over 13.5 wins plus 255.
All right, that is the final pick. We get started with JVT. We end with JVT. You can see all this information later on VSiN.com Also need to remind you that VSiN has exclusive betting splits. They cut through the noise. Find out where the money is going in real time with data straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbook. Circa caters to sharp bettors and big wagers, while DraftKings reflects the broader public market, giving you a unique look at both sides of the action. Track the percentage of bets and handle on every game across every major sport so you can make sharper, more informed bets. Start your edge today for just $9.99 at vsin.com/subscribe. That'll do it for the first ever VSiN Pro Football Futures Draft. You can discuss who you think did best at VSiN Live on X. Thank you for everyone for your cooperation, except for Matt Humans.
Great again.
Mitch and Paul are coming up next with Follow the Money. I'm Dustin Swedelson. See you later tonight on Cashing Out.